Good morning. How are you? How are you? How is everybody? Please tell me in the comment section. आज का सेशन मैं ही स्टार्ट कर रही हूँ. Yamini will join us next time. She was a little busy, couldn't join us today. But how are we doing? सबने योगा किया today morning? Did you attend the yoga class or do you plan to attend today later or in the evening? Good morning. Yes, happy Mahashivratri as well. Very, very important day. Very important day. For those of you, especially जिनकी journey spiritual है, I think very, very important day in terms of the kind of activities that you take up, right? Good. So I think सबने किया yoga. Very nice. Oh, you've started the detox drink also. Very good. So I think आप में से कुछ लोगों को ingredients फटाफट मिल गए होंगे. हो सकता है आप में से कुछ लोग अभी भी ingredients arrange कर रहे हो. That's perfectly fine. कुछ चीजें आसानी से मिल जाती हैं. आई थिंक 2 से 3 इंग्रेडिएंट्स ऐसे थे जो आपको अरेंज करने पड़ेंगे, मतलब थोड़े से मेहनत लगेगी. यूजुअली एलोवेरा, अगर नींबू ले रहे हो, या फिर हनी हो गया. अच्छा, हनी में बी जस्ट लेटिंग यू नो, ट्राई टू गो फॉर अ गुड क्वालिटी हनी. ओके, मार्केट में ज्यादातर जो आपको कॉमन ब्रांड्स के हनी दिखते हैं, आई एम श्योर ऑल ऑफ यू ऑलरेडी नो, इस पे पूरी कंट्रोवर्सी भी हुई थी एक, वो हाईली प्रोसेस्ड होते हैं. ठीक है, तो जब वो पैस्चराइजेशन के प्रोसेस से निकलते हैं, प्रोसेस किए जाते हैं जब, तो उसकी जो एंजाइम्स की वैल्यू होती है या फिर जो उसकी हीलिंग प्रॉपर्टीज होती है ना, वो बहुत कम हो जाती है. ठीक है, सो वी हैव टू बी केयरफुल अबाउट गेटिंग गुड क्वालिटी हनी. कोई बहुत एक्सपेंसिव इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं है. 150-200 रुपए शायद ज्यादा लगेंगे. यू मे जस्ट नीड टू स्पेंड अबाउट 150 to 200 rupees मोर ऑन अ गुड क्वालिटी हनी. What are the things that you should look out for on the label? Number 1, unpasteurized. Number 2, unprocessed. This was not really supposed to be part of today's session, but I'm just letting you know. I say a lot of information will keep coming on the spot from me. So make a note of this. Look for honey. You can look for it online, or if you have any local vendors who are doing a good job, you have to look for 2 things: unprocessed and unpasteurized. If these 2 conditions are satisfied, that means it's a good quality, at least much better than what you are getting in the market at a cheaper price. Right? So yes, I think most of the things are easy to procure. Couple of ingredients you may have to look for a little bit. So even if you end up starting 3-4 days later, not a problem. And today at the end of the session, I'm also going to give you a proper meal plan that you can look at following, and the liver detox drink is going to be part of that plan only. ठीक है, लिवर डिटॉक्स ड्रिंक आज जो मैं आपके साथ मील प्लान शेयर करूंगी फॉर 1 वीक के लिए. हर वीक हमारा मील प्लान थोड़ा थोड़ा रिवाइज होगा लिवर डिटॉक्सिफिकेशन के हिसाब से, राइट? तो हमारी जो लिवर डिटॉक्स ड्रिंक है वो आज के प्लान में भी है और वो आगे भी कंटिन्यू रहेगी, राइट? अब एक चीज का ध्यान रखिएगा, जो जो आपको इंग्रेडिएंट्स बताए गए हैं लिवर डिटॉक्स ड्रिंक में, उसको जितनी मात्रा में बताया है, द quantity in which I have asked you to have the ingredients which are part of the liver detox drink, please make sure you're taking in that quantity only. Don't take too much of it just because it's good, because too much can make it slightly toxic. So I have told you the proportion of each ingredient with a lot of experience, knowledge, and under the supervision of an Ayurvedic doctor, who's Ayurvedic doctors who are part of my team. All right. So firstly, please don't be afraid, because I think some of you had this worry that how am I arriving at 2 grams of something, or 1 teaspoon, half teaspoon of something. Please be assured, whatever is reaching so many people is coming to you after thorough research and consultation with experts in the industry and with my experience of 10 years. So you can be sure that you are not harming yourself. Other questions also I will answer eventually. All right, so I think we are almost at 11:30. Let's get started with today's session. Backend team, can we have the, yeah, great. All right, so let's start with what we are going to talk about today. And I hope you're able to, once again, just for us to know, because last 2 sessions में हमें थोड़ा confusion था कि शायद voice कट रही है या video ठीक से नहीं आ रहा है. कमेंट सेक्शन में प्लीज मुझे बता दीजिए मेरा वीडियो एकदम स्मूथ चल रहा है आपके लिए और आवाज अच्छे से आ रही है. Okay. Yeah. 1 second ना, इतनी सारी कमेंट्स है ना, मुझे लेटेस्ट पे जाने में थोड़ा सा टाइम लग जाता है. राइट. सो ऑल ऑफ यू कैन हियर मी क्लियरली एंड यू कैन see me clearly as well. Right? Fantastic. So let's get started with today's session. Very interesting. It is about superfoods and herbs to boost your liver health. Okay. Here we are going to talk about very interesting, easy to follow things, easily available things also, which will help you in your liver detoxification journey. So let's first talk about superfoods. Superfoods क्या होते हैं? Foods which are part of our, have been part of our culture, and they are not exactly herbs as such. They are part of the food family only. यानी वो खाने की कैटेगरी में ही आते हैं, वो herbs की कैटेगरी में नहीं आते, लेकिन उनका स्पेसिफिक इफेक्ट होता है हमारे लिवर की हेल्थ को और अच्छा करने में. Okay, a lot of us may already be having it, some of us may start having it now, and आप अगर already इसे ले रहे थे, you may not have known, but it's fantastic for detoxification of your liver. On when I say detoxification, it means lots of things. Okay, and what do I mean by lots of things? Everything I will cover. That what do we mean by detoxification of liver, right? All right, so सबसे पहला, my favorite, number one superfood is आंवला. We also call it the Indian gooseberry. इसको हिंदू माइथोलॉजी में लॉर्ड विष्णु सलाइवा का करार दिया गया है, which is something by itself, right? It's believed to be equivalent to Lord Vishnu's saliva, which means that is the kind of value it holds in terms of the effects that it's capable of having on your system. Like it's coming directly from the gods is what's believed. Even if you look at a lot of Ayurvedic formulations, or if you ever talk to a good Ved, they will tell you that Amla and Trifla may be ultimately Amla hota hai, right? They are part of almost each and every medicine which is part of the Aushadh category, that is the medicinal category of Ayurveda. Now, in Ayurveda, Amla is believed to be Rasayana. That means Rasayana is something which has rejuvenating properties. Okay, it starts to do a lot of reconstruction, repair in the body the moment it reaches you. So this is the Ayurvedic literature. I'll give you the Western perspective as well, जो कि बिल्कुल same match खाता है उसी बात से जो आयुर्वेद कह रहा है, बस terminologies थोड़ी different हो जाती हैं. Right, so we've understood that Ayurveda calls it Rasayana, that is, it has rejuvenating properties. What do we mean by rejuvenating properties? That something has the capability of, in a way, regenerating or making our body anabolic. Anabolic matlab anything which is getting constructed, new things are getting formed. So every day, some cells are dying in the body, some cells are building new. कुछ हमारे सेल्स मरते हैं, कुछ नए बनते हैं, और इसी से हमारी एजिंग की स्पीड डिसाइड होती है. हाउ क्विकली वी बिकम ओल्ड इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन हाउ एट व्हाट स्पीड आर सेल्स डाइंग and at what speed are the new ones getting formed, or the ones which are not in a good shape are getting repaired. Now, when the process of anabolism, that is new construction, takes over the process of destruction, that is cells dying are less, but those that are becoming new or that are regenerating, that is more, our aging comes down drastically. So when we think of these fancy terms in the market like anti-aging diet, anti-inflammatory diet, ultimately what is happening in those diets, that they're putting a lot of ingredients such as amla and other things also, which have a strong anti-aging effect, which means they put your body in a state where a lot of new cells are getting and healthy cells are getting formed. All right. Okay. Specifically talking about the liver, it helps with regeneration of liver cells. So like I told you, entire body mein lots of cells are dying and lots of cells are, new cells are coming up. So even with respect to liver, it's the same thing that's happening. That हमारे लिवर के सेल्स मरते भी जा रहे हैं, लेकिन उनको नया बनाने के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटी भी दी जा सकती है. एंड टू हेल्प विद दैट, आंवला प्लेज अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. ओके, why does it do so? Now let's look at the Western perspective. What does the West tell us? When I say West, I mean the modern, literature when it comes to nutrition. What does that tell us? That amla is loaded with vitamin C And vitamin C is what? A very strong antioxidant. ये सबने आपने सब लोगों ने सुना होगा कभी ना कभी. हैव यू हर्ड ऑफ समथिंग कॉल्ड एज एंटीऑक्सीडेंट? आपने देखा होगा ये चीज. आप खाने की कोई चीज खरीदते हो, उसके लेबल पे भी डाल देते हैं कभी कभी, उसको बेचने के लिए बेटर, कि दिस इज रिच इन एंटीऑक्सीडेंट्स. No, please don't combine amla with watermelon juice. Amla juice to be had on its own or combined with a couple of other things. वाटरमेलन जूस के साथ नहीं. यस, सो वी ऑल हर्ड ऑफ एंटीऑक्सीडेंट्स, राइट? तो एंटीऑक्सीडेंट्स क्या कर रहे हैं? अगेन एक तरीके से आपकी एजिंग की प्रोसेस को कम कर रहे हैं या फिर उसकी स्पीड को रोक रहे हैं. तो विटामिन सी जो है ना, बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग एंटीऑक्सीडेंट है. विटामिन सी इज अ वेरी पोटेंट, इज अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग एंटीऑक्सीडेंट. एंड व्हाट्स ब्यूटिफुल इज दैट वन आंवला इज इक्वल टू the vitamin C content in one amla is equal to that which you will find in 10 lemons put together. So you imagine how powerful amla is. Okay. Another very important part, since we are talking about liver, in next session next week, I mean अभी फ्राइडे को तो Q&A है, उसके बाद जो हम नेक्स्ट नॉलेज सेशन करेंगे, आई एम गोइंग टू बी कंप्लीटली कवरिंग द आयुर्वेदिक एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इट, एंड यू विल रियलाइज हाउ लिवर हेल्थ हैज अ लॉट टू डू विथ टू मच हीट जनरेशन in your body. Those of you who feel that they're always acidic, there is too much heat, usually those are the kind of problems that come when your liver is not balanced. Okay, so amla also helps with balancing the heat in the body. हिंदी में हम कहते हैं ना, बहुत गर्मी हो रही है बॉडी में, हाथों से पैरों के तलवों से बहुत गर्मी निकल रही है. सोल्स ऑफ आवर फीट एंड पाम्स आर एमिटिंग अ लॉट ऑफ हीट एंड आई एम फीलिंग लाइक देयर आर hot flushes भी हो सकता है, but that is a different thing. Or our cheeks are emitting a lot of heat. So when that kind of heat formation is happening, amla has a balancing effect in terms of pacifying or cooling down that heat naturally. Okay. So that was about amla. How do we have amla? There are multiple ways of having it. Two most popular ways would be that you start mixing 30 ml of amla juice. 30 ml is what? If you juice one amla, it will give you anywhere between 15 to 30 ml. So either you take the measurement of 30 ml. Let's say you don't have fresh amlas, but you can procure juice from somewhere which does not have sodium benzoate or has very little sodium benzoate, if at all. Okay, so if you're just having juice, you can measure about 30 ml. If you're having whole amla by itself, then you can look at either having it completely, or even if you juice one amla, whatever juice comes out of it can be diluted in some water. It can be 1 cup water also, but some people feel that their throat starts itching, so dilute it in more water. Add a little bit of honey and you can have this. If you ask me what to choose out of the two, I would honestly say have the whole amla, because amla ka jo fiber hota hai na, the fiber which amla has acts as a prebiotic. Not all kinds of fibers are prebiotic in nature. What is prebiotic? Something which becomes food for the good gut bacteria to eat and for them to grow. So the fiber of amla is such that the good gut bacteria feed on it and they grow in number. And when you have more good bacteria in the gut, lot of things and problems start getting balanced on their own without medication also in a lot of spheres. Right? So just repeating, 30 ml amla juice diluted in some water, or you can add some honey also, or just eat an entire amla. Let's say you don't have either amla or the juice, then what you can do, for example, you're living abroad, you're living in some country where Indian gooseberry is not a concept. See, all over India, I would say most of you will find amla. Even if you get the ones that is coming from cold storage, not that bad. Amla is so strong, one of the very few fruits, I would say, in the world that can preserve a very high amount of vitamin C despite getting old. That means despite storage. Usually we say that you should have things fresh. But amla, even if due to whatever reason you're not able to have fresh, you will still get lots of benefits. Okay. So cold storage wala amla bhi chalega. Nahi to amla powder is something all of you can easily procure. Okay. First preference fresh. Can't procure it, then go for amla powder. No problem at all. When you're having powder, always start with just half a teaspoon. That is 2.5 grams. If it suits you, Then increase it to 1 teaspoon, which is about 5 grams of amla powder. All right. Are we clear on how amla is working on the body, how it is great for the liver and for anti-aging of the entire body, and how we have to eat amla? Please tell me in the comment section. Just give me a thumbs up or say yes if you've understood. Great. Okay. Perfect. So, someone said that boiling or steaming amla loses its properties. Yes, it does, but you'll be surprised to know there is a certain kind of acid in amla which still preserves the vitamin C in it. So, even if you want to make a chutney out of amla and keep it in the fridge and have little with your food, that is also perfectly fine. But yes, compared to fresh amla, the amount of vitamin C will be a little low. Now, one word of caution. Okay, listen to me very carefully. Amla is fantastic, suits most people. Some people will not be able to tolerate amla too well. It's because, let's say, if there is too much acidity in the body or you have some sort of irritation in the gut lining, right? There may be whatever reason because of which sometimes amla by itself, when you're having it alone, creates an issue. You may start feeling itchiness on the skin. You may start feeling that the throat is feeling like it's not okay. If any of that happens, please stop amla juice or amla powder consumption by itself. What will definitely still work for you in all probability is that you make a chutney out of it and have it with main meals, or take fresh amla, half of it, grate it, have it with your dal sabzi in the afternoon. Basically, don't have it alone, but combine it with food and have, where there will be ghee also, there'll be chapati or rice also, dal sabzi. Then chances are that you'll be okay. And try having it in the afternoon, not at night. Okay. There's no problem in having it at night, but in the meal plan that I'm going to share with you after this session, I've already given you something which has amla, right? That's why I want you to divide the consumption of amla through the day in a way that where it's nicely spread out. All right. Frozen amla is also okay, but only if you can't arrange for fresh amla. All right. Difference between Bhumi Amla and Amla, lot of difference. These are two completely different plants. Bhumi Amla, ka all 5 components are used. Its stem, its leaves, its flower, its fruits, and the roots. All 5 elements of Bhumi Amla plant, and Bhumi Amla ka fruit is very small, right? That is used in much lesser quantity. Bhumi Amla is used in much lesser quantity because it has very strong impact on the liver. Avla, on the contrary, one entire fruit can be had, and these two are not interchangeable. They are not the same. They are completely different. So we'll talk about how you have to have both, even if you're having Bhumi Amla, specifically fantastic for people who are going through some sort of, serious liver issue, I would say, or even fatty liver or some kind of, let's say, cirrhosis, fibrosis. Then also Bhumi Amla helps you. All right, let's move to the next category of superfoods, which is cruciferous vegetables. तो नेक्स्ट सुपरफूड की कैटेगरी है क्रूसीफरस वेजिटेबल्स, यानी कि ज्यादातर जो पत्तों वाली सब्जियां होती हैं, जिसमें इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अगर बात करें तो वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कैबेज, ब्रोकली, कॉलीफ्लावर, टर्निप, राइट? सो नाउ ये सारी आपको मिलने, अब्रॉड के सामने मैंने जो लिखा है कुछ कुछ चीजें वो भी आपको इंडिया में मिल जाएंगी, बट इफ दे आर नॉट ग्रोन इन इंडिया, आई डोंट थिंक इट्स रिक्वायर्ड, एंड ऑल्सो दे विल बी ओवर प्राइस्ड. So these are the cruciferous vegetables that you can have if you're in India. If you are abroad, then apart from what you are getting in India, there is Brussels sprouts, there is collard greens, and there is kale, right? All of these also fall under the category of cruciferous vegetables. Now, when I say cruciferous vegetables, please don't just start having them raw. Okay, this is something now, I mean, see, naturopathy would tell you that it's okay to have things raw because they have best amount of nutrition in it, which they are right about. They're not wrong. But is that nutrition getting absorbed in our gut? Not so much, especially for people who have gut issues. Okay. Who is supposed to avoid or minimize cruciferous vegetables? किसको cruciferous vegetables नहीं खाने हैं बहुत ज्यादा? जिसको hypothyroidism का issue हो, उसको सोच समझ के खाना है, क्योंकि इससे थायराइड हार्मोन्स पे थोड़ा सा इनडायरेक्टली फर्क पड़ता है. हालांकि अगर आप उसको कुक करके खाते हैं तो इतना फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बट आपको फिर भी बहुत फ्रीक्वेंटली नहीं खाना है. नाउ व्हाई आर वी टॉकिंग अबाउट क्रूसीफेरस वेजिटेबल्स? Cruciferous vegetables are rich in this compound called as sulforaphanes. Okay? आपको ये सब बहुत ध्यान रखने की जरूरत नहीं है, एक बार सुन लो तो छोटा छोटा आपको दिमाग में बैठ जाएगा. SFN बोल रहे हैं हम उसको शॉर्ट फॉर्म में, सल्फोराफेन्स. ठीक है, ये एक सल्फर से रिलेटेड कंपाउंड होता है, सल्फर से बना हुआ कंपाउंड होता है. अब सल्फोराफेन्स की क्या प्रॉपर्टी है? इट हेल्प्स इन ब्रेकिंग डाउन एक्सेस फैट डिपॉजिटेड इन द लिवर सेल्स. पिछले सेशन में हमने फैटी लिवर की बात की थी कि फैटी लिवर में जो फैट की लेयर है वो आपके लिवर के चारों तरफ एंड लिवर के अंदर जम जा रही है. We spoke about how in fatty liver there is a deposition of a layer of fat around the liver and in the liver cells. So sulforaphanes specifically help with breaking down of that layer of fats around your liver. Second, it reduces the oxidative stress caused to the liver. All of us have heard of the a word or term called as oxidative stress. Please tell me in the comment section. Do you understand what is oxidative stress? This actually is spoken about a lot, but I think nobody explains it. So we're always confused what is oxidative stress. Right. No, most of us don't know. Someone's asked if arthritis may, yes, you're not supposed to have anything which is, most things sour are not supposed to be had. So don't worry. Please calm down. Right now, don't ask for alternatives. What you need to focus on is allow me to cover everything in this session. If I'm talking about 5 things, you will still be able to have at least 3 things or 2 things out of that. And you can focus on having just that. Still, it will give you lots of results. ओके, ऑलराइट. सो ऑक्सीडेटिव स्ट्रेस क्या होता है? हमारे बॉडी के अंदर बहुत सारे फ्री रेडिकल्स नाम के बैड बॉयज घूम रहे होते हैं. ओके, गुंडों की तरह आप उन्हें इमेजिन करिए. बहुत सारे गुंडे घूम रहे हैं हमारे बॉडी के अंदर. देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ बैड बॉयज रोमिंग अराउंड इनसाइड आवर बॉडी एंड दे आर कॉल्ड एज फ्री रेडिकल्स. So you can imagine and picture this. Free radicals are these boys who are absolutely free and roaming around and doing whatever they want to do, and mostly they are doing bad things and damaging things in the body. Okay, and we are not able to stop them. Who is able to stop them? Antioxidants. We just spoke about antioxidants. Antioxidants are the good boys. They are the army who are strong, who come up, face these free radicals and say, stop what damage you're doing to the body. That is why we are told that our diet should be rich in antioxidants. Let's break down what are antioxidants exactly. Antioxidants are vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, one kind of vitamin B and vitamin K are also put in that category. But if you ask me, vitamin A, C, and E, even if you're taking these in enough quantity, you have enough antioxidants. Minerals may selenium, zinc, copper, these are also coming in the category of antioxidants. Good part is if you are having a balanced meal with some superfoods, all of us are getting most of these antioxidants very easily. If we are doing even a little bit of mindful eating, you're all getting antioxidants. And if these antioxidants ka number is high, then they'd be able to attack these free radicals. And then what's going to happen? All the rapid aging that was happening, that is because of the attacks of these free radicals, our age starts to become more than what it actually is. We start looking a little old. You can see that the skin starts wrinkling or there are blemishes, marks on the skin. All of this process starts to come down. This I'm talking about what you can see outside. Similarly, inside also a lot of damage is happening. It's like riots happening inside. When the antioxidants are high, they go stop these free radicals from doing the bad job. And as a result, what happens? That your aging speed comes down. Okay, clear on this? Were you able to imagine what's happening? The fight between free radicals, antioxidants, and how amla, because it's rich in vitamin C, is a very strong antioxidant. Yeah. Are we clear on what is oxidative stress? So oxidative stress is the stress caused when there are too many free radicals inside the system. Okay, great. So most of us have understood. 3 things you need to remember. And first is free radicals, bad boys. Second is antioxidants, the good boys, the strong army. फ्री रेडिकल्स क्या करते हैं? ऑक्सीडेटिव स्ट्रेस क्रिएट करते हैं बॉडी के अंदर, बट उस ऑक्सीडेटिव स्ट्रेस को कौन कम करता है? एंटीऑक्सीडेंट्स. व्हाट आर द एंटीऑक्सीडेंट्स? विटामिन ए, विटामिन सी, विटामिन ई, जिंक, सेलेनियम, कॉपर. Okay, great. Also, what are sulforaphanes present in cruciferous vegetables doing? They are helping in breaking down the toxins and excess estrogen in the body. So, lots of other toxins which are present inside the liver and all over the body, they are also getting broken down with the help of these sulforaphanes. Excess estrogen, very important. All of you must have come across some video somewhere on Instagram, YouTube, and some influencer must be, or health expert must be telling you how problem of estrogen dominance has become very common in women these days, which means we have much more estrogen in the body than what is required, and it's also the bad kind of estrogen which is damaging. And too much of estrogen dominance can lead to a lot of gynecological issues, from endometriosis to adenomyosis to even PCOS to lots of other issues that you can think, even fibroids for that matter. Anything to do with ovaries and uterus, usually estrogen dominance is what is said is one of the leading causes for these issues, right? Although Ayurvedic perspective is slightly different, but this also makes sense. Okay. And we'll talk about how these estrogens enter the body, why this dominance is happening. There are multiple reasons behind it that will be covered in a separate session, if at all. But let's imagine for now, a lot of us have a lot of extra bad estrogen roaming around in our blood, which is creating an issue. So cruciferous vegetables is helping in breaking that down and getting you rid of that, getting your body rid of all of those excess estrogen molecules present in it. Okay, so we are indirectly also getting saved from reproductive or gynecological issues in a lot of ways. Plus, strongest reason to have cruciferous vegetables, anti-carcinogenic as well, which means they are protecting us from cancer-causing cells as well. Next, superfood, very famous, found in everybody's kitchen. It's just that these days, getting good quality turmeric or haldi is a challenge. It's a real problem because a lot of it is getting adulterated with lead, because that gives it that yellow color. So, just to make more money, a lot of brands end up adding yellow color by way of add color also, and lead also. And lead is a very, very toxic metal for the liver. Okay, but anyway, now that is keeping that aside, let's assume you have somehow arranged for very good quality haldi or turmeric. What is the active compound? Just like we studied right now, that in cruciferous vegetables there are sulforaphanes. In turmeric, the active compound is called curcumin. You must have all heard of it. These days, doctors and nutritionists prescribe curcumin supplements also. Okay, Lakadong haldi is better because the curcumin percentage, yes, is slightly higher in it. So if somebody wants strong anti-inflammatory effects, they can go for Lakadong haldi. It's a specific haldi which is coming from, I think, Meghalaya, northeast side. It's grown only there, and it has higher percentage of this active compound called curcumin, which has very strong hepatoprotective properties, anti-cancer properties, anti-inflammatory properties. Now, what is curcumin doing? It is stimulating the production of glutathione. Have you guys been put on glutathione supplement? It is a very famous supplement prescribed by dermatologists. Anybody who's had in the past or is currently having glutathione supplement, it's quite famous, right? Okay, some of you have, some of you haven't. All right, great. So glutathione का तो supplement भी market में आने लगा है. So you can imagine how important an antioxidant it is. So what is glutathione? Glutathione is also an antioxidant, and it is like the biggest and the most powerful antioxidant, master antioxidant for the liver, which the liver uses to be able to detoxify itself and the entire system. That is why when we have major toxin, when I say toxicity issues, in the sense that, there is a lot of free radical damage happening inside the body, right, which is coming in the form of dark patches on the skin, etc., the doctors will give you a glutathione supplement so that the liver is equipped with its strongest master to fight out those bad boys, because of which your skin will also start getting better. But the good part is that glutathione is easily available in natural sources as well, and haldi is one such thing. In India, the beauty is that we add haldi pretty much to every food that we prepare, be it our dal, be it our sabzi, be it our khichdi, be it our dalia, whatever we have, we add a little bit of haldi, right? Like I've already told you, strong anti-inflammatory properties, improves fat metabolism, prevents fatty liver, stimulates bile production. Very important. What is bile? Bile is a gastric juice in a way which is produced by the liver, which ultimately goes, it's produced little by little, and keeps collecting in the gallbladder. When it is collected in sufficient amount, then it is released into the opening of the small intestine. Imagine you've eaten food from the stomach, the food is just going to enter the small intestine. Small intestine ke first part mein the food has reached, and the gallbladder puts all the bile there so that the fats can now nicely be digested. Whoever feels very uncomfortable, bloated after having a fatty meal, or in general is unable to digest fats, what does this tell us? That the bile production is not sufficient. It's not good enough. Your liver is not producing as much bile as it should be, or of the quality that it should be producing. We'll discuss this in more detail in the next week Ayurveda session that I will take for you. So, what is turmeric doing? It is stimulating more bile production. So, naturally, fantastic for your liver, for your gallbladder, for fat metabolism, and everything else that I spoke about a few minutes back. It's also stimulating the liver cell regeneration. Same thing. Like I said, liver cells are constantly, like any other organ, they're constantly dying and new ones are getting formed. But we have to be intelligent, smart enough to decide what should we eat specially so that this regeneration process goes up. So turmeric is helping with that. Now, one thing I want you to remember is that the best way to consume turmeric is haldi wala doodh, or haldi with some kind of ghee or honey. Okay. And best to combine turmeric with black pepper. How much black pepper? Just a pinch. Never have too much of black pepper together. You'll end up getting acidity, or in the long term, even ulcers in your stomach, because it's very strongly stimulates the hydrochloric acid in the stomach as well. So only a pinch has to be had. Now, when I say haldi wala doodh, I am totally aware of the fact that most of the milk in the country is adulterated. So I will not ask you to have, or I will not say that you should have this haldi with bad quality milk. Instead, if you can make almond milk at home with 10-15 almonds, when you make the milk, now please listen to me carefully. I'm not asking you to have 10-15 almonds. That is too many almonds, right? What you have, especially you have, if you have pitta issue, it may in fact cause acidity also. You have to soak the almonds, peel the almonds, only the white part that is left, blend it with some water, take a muslin cloth or a cotton cloth and squeeze the juice. Whatever white part of almonds is left, please discard it. Or if you want, you can use a little bit of it, something which will be equivalent to about 5-6 almonds. Rest of it, please discard. Okay, just the juice which has come out, which will be hardly 15-30 ml, that is your almond milk ka base. You can add a little more water to it. Then you can add a little bit of if you don't have acidity issues, then even kachi haldi, raw haldi is very good. But because raw haldi is slightly more potent or acidic, may not suit certain people. If it suits you, go for it in very little quantity. If it does not suit you, don't worry. Just put very little haldi in your milk and a little bit of black pepper. In fact, you can also add very little amount of ghee to balance out the acidic effect of haldi. Okay. Please know that in Ayurveda, we look at food in terms of the effect that it has on the body post digestion. We don't just go by the properties like anti-inflammatory, it is anti-cancerous, fantastic, all of that is great. But in what combination should it be had so that it's inherently, naturally, the fact that haldi is acidic in nature should not end up creating a problem for you, even if it's very good. That is why we've never had it with water. Whole concept of turmeric latte, which is very famous in the West, right now, and as a huge business, has ultimately originated from India, where they saw that Indians have their haldi with milk and they converted it into turmeric latte there, right? They also, but I do see a lot of reels and info on the internet where they're having it with water. I will not recommend that you have it with water, because water is neutral, and when you add something acidic like haldi in it, chances are that your acidity may go up. You may also start experiencing slight migraines, etc. Okay, so a lot of clients, in fact, come to me with this issue. And when I that we are having haldi, we are having good things, why are we still facing acidity, migraines? It's because you're having it the wrong way. Combinations are very important. What are the combinations that you make with superfoods? All right. So we are clear with how haldi is to be had and the fact that if it's not suiting you, respect it, reduce the quantity, add a little bit of ghee. If it still does not suit you, don't have. Just have haldi in food. That's good enough. All right. Next is garlic, lasan. Now, what is the active compound in lasan? Mainly allicin and selenium. तो mineral हो गया. Allicin is the active compound. And ये active compound कब active होता है? When you allow the garlic to come in contact with oxygen in the air. Okay, so let's say you've grated the garlic a little bit and you allow it to sit for just 2 minutes on a spoon or on the chopping board. That's when it's getting activated, allicin. Or when you start chewing it is when allicin starts getting activated. So I understand that garlic can give you a little bit of garlic breath, which is not very comfortable, but for medicinal purpose, for a short duration of, let's say, a month or so, if you can choose to still have garlic for some time and see if it works for you. Now, please know that garlic is a natural blood thinner as well, which is good news for those who have blood pressure related issues, because in blood pressure, if we somehow you are anyway in blood pressure, put on blood thinners. Okay, directly, indirectly, the doctors are giving you, in a lot of cases, they give you blood thinners as well. So garlic acts like a natural blood thinner too, which means it will automatically help in reducing the blood pressure. Second, the sulfur compounds that are present inside the garlic remove heavy metals, pollutants, and excess hormones from the body. Just like how we spoke about in cruciferous vegetables, sulforaphanes have that effect of flushing out excess estrogen. Even the sulfur compounds present in garlic are helping you with flushing out a lot of toxins and heavy metals and things that we are consuming, which are not even in our control because there is so much pollution around us, right? It's anti-inflammatory, which means if there is any kind of inflammation happening inside the body, how do you know there is inflammation inside? You'll either feel certain aches, pains, or swelling, or if you get your blood test done, which is called the CRP, C reactive protein. If you get your CRP levels checked, or ESR, erythrocyte sedimentation rate, which is usually part of the CBC, complete blood count, जब आप कराते हैं तो ESR उसमें automatically आ ही जाता है. तो CRP and ESR आपको बताते हैं that there is inflammation. If the levels of these two tests are high, especially CRP, you know that there is inflammation in the body. Okay, so it brings down that inflammation as well. Antimicrobial. Wow. What is antimicrobial? That means it's doing the same work that antibiotics are doing. Okay, so antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal. Garlic has all three properties. So if there is any kind of microbial attack on your body, यानी कि कोई infection अगर हो रहा है शरीर के अंदर, so garlic will help you with that as well. Again, what is it doing? It is enhancing your bile flow. Just what we covered in haldi, that's what even garlic is doing. Okay. Best way to consume garlic, 1 clove raw garlic with a few. 1 clove क्या होता है? एक फाड़ी लहसुन. एक पूरा लहसुन नहीं लेना है, एक फाड़ी लहसुन. 1 clove of small garlic. Don't take the big one. Please take the small one and you can grate it. कद्दूकस कर देना है उसको. You can add a few drops of honey in it. नहीं तो पेट जलता है. That's why I'm saying add a few drops of honey in it, and if you've grated it, you will not even have to chew it that much. आपको इतना चबाना भी नहीं पड़ेगा. उसको अपने मुंह में आपने डाला, साथ में थोड़ा सा lukewarm पानी पिया, about let's say 75 to 150 ml, जितना चाय का कप होता है एक, ठीक है? And उसके बाद आप 20 to 30 minutes wait, and then you can have your main meal. This is the best way to have it. Now let me share my experience also with you, so that in case if it does not suit you, you don't get worried. With a lot of people, sometimes raw garlic does not work for them. Okay, it is also a little pittakarak in nature, which means it can increase the heat element in the body. So those of you who already are having those heaty symptoms, you get hot very easily, there is too much of sweating from your palms, there is heat being emitted from your palms or soles of your feet, or you know that in general I am a high heat person, this may not work for you. So you can choose to either reduce the quantity to just half a clove of garlic, or avoid it completely. Or third thing that you can do is add it, grate it in your dal or your sabzi. So instead of cooking the garlic, what we are doing is we are having it with the food in raw form. We're not having it before food, we're having it with food. So you'll have to experiment and see what's working for you. Some people respond very well to raw garlic, some people feel that we are feeling a slight, either they feel burning sensation in the stomach, or they start feeling slight nausea or pukish sensation. If that happens with you, discontinue, no problem. The reason I'm sharing so many superfoods is, like I told you, not everything will suit everybody. There are thousands of people attending this session at the moment, but I'm guaranteeing you, all of you will find your one to two to even three superfoods and herbs which will work for you and which will be totally okay. So you have to pick the ones that work for you. All right, so we're clear on garlic. Can it be mixed in fresh chutney? Yes, absolutely, it can be. So I think that's a good suggestion. You can, when you're making green coriander mint chutney, you can add a little bit of garlic to that also and have it with food, so you get the benefits of raw garlic. Okay, all right. Those of you who have thyroid, please just relax. There is way too much information in the market, and you will be shocked to know that it's almost like you can't have half the things available in the market is not meant for people who have thyroid. So don't look at it that way. If you start taking everything out, what are you going to eat in hypothyroidism? So hypothyroidism is to be targeted in a very deeper, with a very deep approach of what's happening inside. In most cases hypothyroidism is happening, I'm just touching upon it because I'm seeing a lot of comments on hypothyroidism. I'm just saying that it's not a primary issue by itself. It's usually happening as a manifestation और सेकेंडरी रिजल्ट. वो अपने आप में दिक्कत नहीं है, वो इसलिए हो रहा होता है क्योंकि पीछे कुछ खराब हो रहा है और आप पकड़ नहीं पा रहे हो दैट व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. ओके, all right. So because the session is not about hypothyroidism, please, I'm going to be focusing on people in general who are coming with liver related issues and who want to enhance liver health. If you have hypothyroidism or any other condition, yes, certain things may not be allowed for you that your doctor or your private healthcare professional would have told you. Please feel free to avoid. Okay, let's come to beetroot. Again, बीटरूट फैंटास्टिक फॉर लिवर हेल्थ. इसमें एक्टिव कंपाउंड क्या होती है? बेटालीन्स नाम की एक एक्टिव कंपाउंड होती है और एक नाइट्रेट्स नाम का कंपाउंड होता है. अब नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस, जब आपकी बॉडी में बीटरूट जाता है, चाहे वो जूस के फॉर्म में हो या एक्चुअल बीटरूट सैलेड या कुक्ड बीटरूट के फॉर्म में हो, दिस नाइट्रेट गेट्स कन्वर्टेड इनटू नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड. जैसे ही नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड बनता है, the moment there is nitric oxide formed in the body, what does it do? If your blood vessels were were this size, they start becoming this size. We call it vasodilation. That is, if let's say the diameter, hypothetical, don't go by the numbers, let's say if the diameter of your blood vessels was 1 mm, it's now going to become 2.5 or 3 mm. Right? This is called vasodilation, naturally increasing the radius or the diameter of your blood vessels. Our blood vessels are like pipes or tubes in the entire body. Now, what happens if we increase the diameter naturally, automatically blood pressure issue will also start getting controlled. Now, when I use the words blood pressure will come under control, it's good for blood pressure, obviously you should know that one thing by itself does not work. So you have to do multiple things put together. That's when through natural holistic approach you start seeing results. There is no one thing which is a remedy for an issue. If someone says that, Deepti, I've got blood pressure, what am I supposed to do? I'm going to work on naturally thinning your blood. I'm going to work on your vasodilation. I'm going to work on finding out why is the pressure high in the first place to begin with. What is the person doing wrong? So we have to look through everything. So nothing is like magic, but all of these things have little impact, which indirectly lead to your pressure coming down. So I'm just sharing it with you so that you don't feel that this is misinformation. Okay. Second, beetroot fantastic for liver detoxification, removes heavy metals, like we spoke about in the previous slide also, that we all keep getting different kinds of heavy metals and toxins deposited in our body. It starts removing that. It also prevents fatty liver, and even if you have fatty liver, it will help you start reversing that. What is the best way to consume beetroot? Either make fresh juice, combine it with carrot. By the way, this is going to be part of your meal plan anyway, so don't worry about it. I'll tell you how you have to have beetroot. So fresh juice you can have, or you can have beetroot soup, or you can have it in the form of salad, or you can steam it or cook it and have. Okay, theoretically speaking, this is great. It will work for most of you. Some of you will feel bloated after having raw beetroot or raw beetroot juice. It is a little difficult to digest for some people, specifically creating the issue of bloating. Okay, so in that case, don't have beetroot in the form of juice. Don't have it in the form of raw salad. Please cook it or at least steam it and start including it on daily basis as part of your steamed salad with lunch. Right? Clear on this? So, like keep telling you, a lot of things will work for people, a lot of things will not work for people. Choose the way a particular thing works for you. For some of you, raw will be okay. For some of you, cooked will be okay. For some of you, something will not be okay at all. Remove it, no problem. Okay, great. So we've spoken about this beetroot. Next, now let's come to herbs. Abhi tak we've spoken about superfoods, things that you can easily find in the kitchen. Now let's specifically speak about herbs, and this is going to include the herbs which I've already given you in your liver detox drink. All right, first thing is Bhumi Amla. I've already clarified the doubt. Bhumi Amla is not equal to Amla. Amla is separate. Bhumi Amla is another category altogether. Okay, so it's great for hepatitis, which is a liver issue, liver disease, fatty liver, jaundice. For all of these things, Bhumi Amla is great. It also enhances the production or flow of bile and glutathione. हमने ये दोनों बातें पहले ही कवर कर ली है. बाइल लिवर प्रोड्यूस करता है फैट के डाइजेशन के लिए. ग्लूटाथायोन एक एंटीऑक्सीडेंट है जो लिवर अपने आप से बनाता है. Okay, so now instead of having a supplement or a goli from outside, how about we make our liver strong enough to produce the glutathione on its own? Okay, so Bhumi Amla is helping you with production of more glutathione. Okay, please, I'm again telling you, whoever is saying, I don't eat beetroot, I don't eat garlic, don't worry. Have what you can have. There's an entire list being shared with you. Pick one or two things which are okay with you. All right. Bhumi Amla, how to consume? I've already told you, mix half a teaspoon. That is barely 2 to 2.5 grams. Or just pick 2 or 3 pinches of this powder. Mix it with water or a few drops of honey. This is general advice, right? If you have low blood pressure issues, you can either reduce the quantity to, like I said, don't have half teaspoon with low BP. Okay, just have a pinch of it. If it's still giving you low BP, please remove it completely. Although it's unlikely. I've not seen that happen if you're having limited quantity, but there are so many people out here right now. So you have to be careful with the quantity. Half teaspoon is perfectly safe quantity to have. As per Ayurveda, you can have all the way up to 6 grams of Bhumi Amla a day, but it's divided into different dosages, right? It's not had together. It's spread through the day. What I have asked you to have is just half a teaspoon. You reduce it even further. Now, I think some of you had this question that when we look at pills, the Bhumi Amla, capsules or tablets that are there in the market, they are only in mg. So how can you give half a teaspoon? So here is my explanation. There is a lot of difference between a goli and powder. Goli is usually made with a particular plant's extract. Do you understand? It's not the whole plant being powdered. Just it's like how instead of having haldi, you're having curcumin extract. So curcumin is the active compound of haldi, which has been extracted from the haldi powder and then packed into a couple of mg worth of dose. Similarly, for bhumi amla, shatavar, ashwagandha, any kind of herbs that you see in the market, when you are having them in the form of capsules, it's given in mg because they are usually extracts of the active compound. But when you are taking the whole plant and powdering it, then you can take the dosage which is much higher than mgs and it's still safe to have. So you have nothing to worry about. Second point, कुटकी is also इसका active compound होता है कुटकिन, right? Whoever is saying too many things to have in the morning, there are 5 things you don't have, you have just 2 things, there is no problem. My job is to give you a complete drink. If that works for you, great. If you don't think you have the bandwidth to work that hard, pick 2 things of your choice, mix it with water and have, there is no problem. Okay, active compound in kutki is kutkin, protects the liver cells from damage and reduces the fat accumulation. Now, this is a very, very potent, as in very strong herb to have. So, like I told you last time also, I'm going to change this, by the way, right? Please, I've written 1/4 teaspoon, but because in the drink, I have given you lots of other items also. Backend team, just make a note, please. I forgot to make a change in this yesterday. We have to reduce this to just a pinch instead of 1/4 teaspoon powder for kutki. So if you're having kutki powder by itself with nothing else added, then you can still take it up to slightly more than a pinch. But because right now we are having other things as well, so we'll reduce the quantity of kutki to just 1 pinch. Okay. All right. So kutki is what? Kutki is also a herb. Just like other things, bhumi amla, etc. were herbs. Similarly, these are also, or herbs bolo ya plants bolo. It could be. It is coming from a plant. For some plants, their specific parts are used. For example, their root would be used for another plant. Their leaf would be used for another plant. Perhaps their stem would be used. So that's how different herbs work. Okay. Manjishtha, and again, very good, safe to consume herb that can be added. I would recommend learn about it today, but don't implement it right away. We'll see how to do Manjishtha later because I've already given you quite a bit in the early morning drink. So just listen to this from knowledge perspective. Now, this improves the lymphatic drainage, that is removing metabolic wastes from the liver. Your lymphatic system is responsible for draining a lot of toxins out of your body, and for a lot of us our lymphatic system is heavily clogged, यानी कि उसमें जितनी movement होनी चाहिए lymphatic fluid की वो नहीं हो पा रही है because we are either inactive or our lifestyle is not that great because of too much of stress. Lymphatic system has come to a, I wouldn't say it has come to a halt, but it's not moving the drainage system as nicely as it should be. Okay, so Manjishtha helps with activating that lymphatic drainage system or improving the lymphatic drainage system as well. Okay, and when lymphatic drainage system is improved, like I said, because the work of that system is to remove the toxins, it's automatically beginning to drain out your toxins also. So when you do lymphatic massage, anybody here who's done lymphatic massage or has gone for lymphatic massage session? No, Manjishtha is not same as Mulethi. Mulethi is licorice. Manjishtha is something else. Lymphatic problems, yeah, you're suffering. So lymphatic, in fact, if you go to a good expert and you get your lymphatic massage done or lymphatic drainage system activated, sometimes you get a fever also. You may get a very bad headache or you may feel slight nausea. This I'm talking about lymphatic drainage system activation ke liye massages, which are very strong movements done in different parts where your lymph nodes are present. Why does this happen? Because so far all your lymph, because the lymph wasn't moving properly, lymphatic fluid wasn't moving, the toxins were also lying in one place. Now that the system is activated, those toxins have specially started to move towards the expulsion, which means to be thrown out of the body. They've started moving from different places where they were lying dormant, यानी कि जहां वो स्टोर होके पड़े हुए थे वहां से अब वो नीचे की तरफ आने स्टार्ट हो रहे हैं ताकि शरीर से निकल सकें. लेकिन क्योंकि अब वो आपके खून में घूमना स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, आपको बहुत सारे फीवर जैसे और गला खराब हो रहा है, कोल्ड हो रहा है, ऐसा सिम्टम्स होना स्टार्ट हो जाता है, बट इट सेटल्स डाउन इन 2 to 3 days. Okay, so I'm just telling you that this is how interesting the lymphatic system is. Manjishta is supporting with the bile flow release also. It's cooling in nature. So एक ये मिथ होता है ना, हमको लगता है आयुर्वेदा तो वार्म है, इनके तो सारी चीजें गर्मी क्रिएट करते हैं. ऐसा नहीं होता है. It's about which herb your doctor has used on you, and usually based on your prakriti they give you the kind of herb that works. And even if something is not working and you bring it to their notice, they will change that herb for you so that it doesn't have a heating effect. So anyway, certain herbs are cooling in nature, certain herbs are warming in nature. Manjishta has a cooling effect on the body. Okay, it's great for skin and acne issues. So Manjishta has fantastic impact on the skin. So if you are suffering with acne, or you have rashes, or you have other issues related to skin, be it on the face, on your back, wherever you're getting, red spots or pimples, Manjishta helps with that. It also, yeah, so I've not deliberately not written the dosage at the moment, because this is, like I said, a knowledge session. Later, if I feel we can give you Manjishta, then I'll tell you how much you can have. Usually one pill, which is going to be close to anywhere between 250 to 500 mg, is okay. Or you can have 1/4 teaspoon powder also. It's a little bitter. You can have it pre-meals, you can have it post-meal, either pre-meals or post-meal, or you can have it in the evening also. And I would say powder is the safest to have. Usually Manjishta comes in the form of kashayams and other formulations, which should only be had under the supervision of an expert. So if you're using it on your own, and you shouldn't be taking chances or risk with your health, dried powder is the safest to consume. Even if I'm telling you here, even if you want to start with just 1/4 teaspoon of Manjishta powder, or a tablet which is not going beyond 500 mg. Use just one a day. Next is Giloy or Guduchi. Okay, in some places it's called Giloy, in some places it's called Guduchi. Now it reduces the fat accumulation in the liver. It actually helps you increase your appetite also, and has very strong antiviral properties. This tells us why Giloy became so famous during COVID times, because COVID was a kind of virus, and because Giloy has strong antiviral properties, that's the reason people started consuming it. Now, two things which went wrong during COVID, because of which Giloy ended up getting a bad name, which it shouldn't have got. Number one, people started overdoing it. You overdo a herb, which should be taken in about, let's say, 1 to 2 tablespoons. You start taking 4, 4, 5 tablespoons morning, afternoon, evening. Of course, you're going to get rashes. You're going to get a problem in the stomach, in your digestive system. You're going to feel nausea. So problem was with the dosage that people were taking, not with the fact that Giloy is problematic. Please be very clear on this. Number two, Giloy comes in two kinds of varieties. And due to whatever reason, maybe because people understood Giloy and they started growing a variety in their garden, or they had access to certain kind of Giloy, which was not meant for consumption. I think there is one category of Giloy which is perhaps used in medicines. Like when I say medicine, I mean allopathic medicine. I'm not very sure about it, but that's not what we are talking about. What we are talking about is the variation or the variant which is called Tinospora cordifolia. अब ये बहुत difficult नाम है आपके लिए, तो आई वुड रेकमेंड कहीं से अगर आप गिलोय का जूस ले भी रहे हैं, ये मैं आपको लिखवा के भिजवा दूंगी बिफोर द नेक्स्ट सेशन, दैट टीनोस्पोरा कॉर्डिफोलिया इज द इंग्लिश नेम फॉर द गिलोय विच इज सेफ फॉर कंजम्पशन. ओके, you can always, I can give you the difference in terms of how these two plants look different, but most of us are not going to be getting our Giloy from the plant, right? We are going to buy it from somewhere. So a lot of commercially available good brands, including Kapiva, that I have tested on hundreds of my clients, they are using the Giloy, which is safe for consumption. All that you need to remember is that you have it not more than 1 to 2 tablespoons. So dosage is important. Type of Giloy is important. So जो Giloy की बदनामी हुई थी, it's not because Giloy is a problem, because people overconsumed, and some of them were consuming the kind of Giloy which is not the Ayurvedic variant, which did the damage that it did. All right. Okay. Yes, you can have it in the form of tablet also. There is churn, there is quartz, there is tablet, but make sure dosage is not going beyond. If it's a juice, it's up to 2 tablespoons. If you're using it in the form of powder, restrict it to just, I would say, half a teaspoon to begin with. If you want to make a concoction out of it, you can take half teaspoon, boil it in about 150 ml of water, reduce it to 50 ml. It will be very bitter. And then add the other herbs, etc. Dilute with more water, add a little bit of honey, and then have it. Right? Don't have it in concentrated form, please. All right. Have 30 ml, I've already told you, or make giloy kadha by boiling 1-inch stick. So if any of you have access to giloy stick, it grows like a creeper. So if you have access to the sticks of giloy, dried sticks, you can take 1-inch, which is hardly this much. Okay, 1-inch stick you can take, and you can boil it in water. Or half a teaspoon, like I've already told you, boil it for 10 to 12 minutes, cool it down and consume. Okay, yes. Another important precaution that I'd like you to take, that if you are on any kind of immunosuppressants, which means you have a major autoimmune disorder because of which in the mode of treatment you have been told by the doctor that you are being put on an immunosuppressant, यानी कि आपकी इम्यूनिटी को दबाने की कोशिश की जा रही है क्योंकि आपकी इम्यूनिटी आप ही के शरीर के अगेंस्ट काम कर रही है, then giloy may not be a good idea for those people, because giloy has the properties of boosting immunity like crazy. Okay, so even if someone's dealing with cancer or you're going through chemotherapy, radiation, etc., please consult your doctor first, because around chemotherapy and radiation, they don't want you to have a very strong immunity, right? The immunity has to be down so that the chemo can work, the radiations can work. So even if they allow you, they may say, okay, you can have it for a few days, but few days before your therapy sessions or few days after the therapy sessions, avoid having it. So if you're under any kind of strict medical supervision or treatment, you have to consult your doctor first. All right. I've already explained how to make giloy juice and all, so please, I will not repeat it right now. I've already explained this. Okay, now let's come to Triphala. Triphala is made up of 3 kinds of herbs. What are they? Amla, Baheda, Harad. They're also known as Amla, Bibitaki, Haritaki. It's actually not Haritaki, it should be pronounced as Haritaki. Okay, so these again, like I told you, amla you'll find is coming in literally almost all formulations that Ayurveda uses. Now, Triphala powder, churn, or tablets are easily available in the market. Okay, what I would recommend is that you go for powdered form of Triphala. It's the most potent one, because anything which touches your tongue and then saliva is produced, your salivary glands are activated, and then it nicely mixes with it and then goes into your body, will be digested better. But if you just cannot take the taste of Triphala, then you can go for capsules or golis also, pills. Okay, now how is Triphala beneficial? It has multiple functions. I'm only talking about a few right now. Okay, Triphala works like magic for most people. Number 1, removes digestive sluggishness, which means if there are any kind of toxins deposited in your digestive tract or your metabolism is slow, that starts to get better. Second, it removes toxins from the colon. What is the colon? Colon is the last part of your large intestine where we store maximum amount of toxins because of bad food, bad lifestyle, constipation. Third, prevents toxic buildup in the liver. So it has a very good hepatoprotective and hepato-cleansing. Hepato क्या होता है? Anything related to liver is called hepato. Hepatotoxic, hepato-cleansing, hepatoprotective. That is anything which is related to the liver. Okay, so it is preventing the toxic buildup in the liver as well. All right, how to consume? We start with just 3 chutkis. 3 grams. So 2.5 to 3 grams. That's half a teaspoon Triphala mixed with 5 gram bol lijiye, 5 ml good quality cow ghee. Mix it, make it into a runny chavanprash sort of a liquid in a spoon or a chamcha. Have it. This can be done at bedtime, by the way. Just before you go to bed, 30 minutes before you go to bed, you can have this with a cup or a glass of warm water. If you have fatty liver, please avoid the ghee. Instead, what I would recommend is you mix this Triphala powder in warm water, leave it for 30-40 minutes, and then just shake it and have the whole thing. It doesn't taste good at all, I will agree to that, but has fantastic impact on the body. Who has to avoid Triphala completely? If you have irritable bowel syndrome, irritable bowel disease, you go to the washroom very quickly after eating, your stools are disintegrating too much, Triphala may not suit you. So you can choose to either start with very small dosage and see if it works for you. But if it's causing any kind of loose motions, loose stools, avoid completely. Rest, for most people, Triphala is safe and it shows great impact. All right. For the detox mix, please, if you're when you say you are a kidney patient, this is a very broad term for me. Do you have chronic kidney disease? Do you have a slightly elevated level of creatinine? Do you have something else which is maybe slightly high uric acid levels? So I don't know what do you mean by a kidney patient. So please consult your doctor and find out from them, or go to a good Ayurvedic doctor and ask them, what can I do for my kidney? Is it okay to have this, or would you suggest that I get on to any other kind of customized medication? All right. So this was about the good quality herbs, right? And good quality foods which specifically help you with the liver. Are we clear on most of these things? Hmm? Yes, people on blood thinners, if you should follow these things, and eventually, if naturally with food you're able to thin your blood, then please talk to your doctor whether you can reduce the dosage of your blood thinner. Okay, but obviously only after consulting your doctor. um yes, so I think most of us are clear. Fantastic. Back in team, can we have the meal plan on, please, on the screen? So you will get this meal plan today after today's session. I'm just going to take 2 to 5 more minutes, explain this to you with clarity, and then you can start following it on your own. Okay. Yeah. So this is for week 1. We'll get the next one for next week on next Wednesday. Can we have the second page of this? So early morning is going to be your morning liver detox drink. We are clear on this. We know how this drink has to be made. There are 5, 6 elements. What you cannot arrange for does not matter. If there is something that you don't want to add for religious reasons or because you don't have access to it, no problem. Add as many things as you safely can. I've already given you'll get the recipe again for this, by the way. Okay, morning liver detox drink recipe is there. Make sure the quantity of everything is small. All right, let's have the next slide. What can you have for breakfast? Any seasonal fruit is okay. So it can be apple, guava, pear, banana, whatever works for you given your condition. Plus, you can have 6 soaked and peeled almonds. Plus, you can have 1 tablespoon of soaked pumpkin seeds. Have this mixture at least thrice a day, thrice a week if possible. If you think, no, I don't want to do just fruits, I want to have something solid to eat, I've given you other options. You can have 1 bowl of vegetable red rice poha. You can have methi stuffed moong dal chila. Methi is in season just for a few more weeks maybe, and then it will be out of season. You can have, those of you who don't have methi, you can put any other seasonal vegetable, no problem. 1 bowl of rava upma is also good to go. Try and go for bansi suji. Okay, bansi suji is a variety of suji which is little less processed, which means it won't have that refined qualities which these days rava otherwise has. So 1 bowl of rava upma. Make sure in all of these preparations you are adding lots of vegetables as well, especially peas, matar, because matar has protein. We all keep hearing how Indians lack protein in their breakfast, in their meals, especially vegetarians. So then you have to make sure that you are adding at least a little bit of, let's say, steamed or cooked sprouts, or you're adding a little bit of peas to it, or anything else which is rich in protein. Balance it out yourself. 1 bowl of cooked green moong vegetable bowl. So basically, green moong vegetable bowl is your moong sprouts. Don't have them raw. It's heavy to digest. Steam them nicely. If steaming also is not working for you, cook them. There is no problem. And then add a couple of raw vegetables, dhania, a little bit of chutney, etc., and have that bowl plus 2 tablespoons of coconut chutney. Okay, so am I clear that I've given you options for what I call as a fruity nutty breakfast, where you're having any seasonal fruit which works for you along with little bit of seeds and nuts. Have this at least thrice, if not all days. Okay, and rest of the cooked options are also there. This is just for a week and then we move on. Okay, can we have the next slide? 30 minutes pre-lunch. We spoke about garlic and the effect that it has on the body. So you can have 1 clove of grated raw garlic with a few drops of honey added, plus 1 cup of warm water. This is going to be 30 to 20 minutes before meals. If you do this one day and you think this is not working for you, that is, you're getting acidity, you're getting burning sensation in the stomach, discontinue. No problem. What will you do instead? You can start adding a little bit of raw ginger juice. Just 6 to 7 drops of ginger juice can be added to a cup of warm water. You can have that 20 minutes before you have your meal. If you are already someone who is hyperacidic, you have a very bad acidity issues, add this ginger juice to slightly, mildly cold water or room temperature water. Don't have it with warm water. Anything which is warm or hot stimulates the acid even more, and that's not what we want in case of hyperacidity or GERD, which is okay. All right. So we're clear on this. Raw garlic with honey and water. If it's not suiting, then ginger and water. You can also add a little bit of rock salt to the ginger water, by the way. Okay, garlic can be taken, yeah, before breakfast also, but don't take this more than twice a day, please. At max, once or twice a day. That's it. Can we have the next slide? And that to pre-meals. Back in team, next slide. Yeah, for lunch, you can add a tablespoon of desi ghee on top of all the meals that you prepare. Not tablespoon, teaspoon, yeah. 1 to 1.5, that is 1 से 1.5 कोई भी मिलेट फ्लावर की रोटी आप खा सकते हैं. अगर आपको गेहूं सूट करता है तो प्लीज हैव होल व्हीट रोटी, नो प्रॉब्लम. प्लस गोभी की सब्जी. बाय गोभी, वी जस्ट स्पोक अबाउट क्रूसीफेरस वेजिटेबल्स का बेनिफिट, राइट? सो पत्ता गोभी हो सकता है, फूल गोभी हो सकता है, जो आपको सूट करे चले. तो once a week, let's say, or twice a week, you have, once a week should be enough. You have this along with 1 bowl of moong dal. Second option is, if you are okay with quinoa, you can have a quinoa pulao and add lots of vegetables of your choice. Or you can have 5 to 6 tablespoons of samak rice, that is barnyard millet, with radish moong dal. What is radish moong dal? मूली कच्ची खाने की बजाय हमने उसको थोड़ा सा पका लिया ताकि गैस फॉर्मेशन ना हो और डाइजेशन भी अच्छे से हो जाए. तो या तो आप मूली की सब्जी सेपरेट बना लो, मूंग की दाल सेपरेट बना लो, या फिर दोनों को मिला के भी बना सकते हैं. सो कोई हार्ड एंड फास्ट रूल नहीं है. गो बाय व्हाट योर फैमिली विल आल्सो बी ओके. ठीक है. और यू कैन हैव होल व्हीट और मिलेट रोटी विद कुल्थी दाल. कुल्थी दाल या कुलिथ दाल जिसे हम बोलते हैं, किडनीज के लिए भी स्पेसिफिकली इट्स वेरी गुड. किसी का यूरिक एसिड बढ़ा हुआ है उसके लिए भी गुड. मेक श्योर आपकी दाल, मूंग मसूर फिर भी चलेगा बिना भिगोए, लेकिन और कोई सी भी दाल अगर आप बनाएं उसको रात भर भिगो के रखना है, 8 घंटे. किसी को गैस का इश्यू है तो थोड़ा हींग भी डाल देना है वो पानी में जिसमें आप भिगो के रखेंगे. नेक्स्ट डे उस पानी को फेंकना है, फ्रेश पानी में दाल को कुक करना है. Tripurari Sinha ji, you have to talk to your doctor. I cannot advise because it's when you say kidney patients, I really don't know exactly what are the problems that you are facing. Please consult your doctor if you are on any kind of medication. This I will not be able to advise. Okay. What do you have to have along with your lunch? 1 cup, that is 150 ml only. पूरा एक glass भर के छाछ नहीं लेना है. When we have too much of liquid with food, then also digestion becomes weak. The Jata Ragni becomes weak. We have to keep it strong. So we'll only have 1 small cup of buttermilk. कैसे बनाना है आपको? 2 tablespoon homemade curd लेना है. उसको 120 ml पानी में मिलाकर you have to blend it in the grinder. ग्राइंडर बोल लो, मिक्सी बोल लो, और उसके ऊपर जो झाग आ जाएंगे, बटर टाइप फॉर्मेशन आ जाएगी. जैसे मक्खन निकालने का प्रोसेस होता है ना, मक्खन अलग कर दिया. You have to remove the butter part. Whatever thin consistency liquid is left, that is actual charge. So this is for your knowledge. That is charge. How we make charge in Indian household is not charge. Let's say you don't have the energy to do all this, then you can just dilute 2 tablespoons of curd with some water and add a little bit of dhania, pudina, cumin seeds, kala namak, ajwain. All of these spices can be added to it. Okay. So this is just for your clarity that I've told you what is genuine charge. The other one is not technically charge, where you are just diluting the curd with water, but you can have it. There is no problem because the amount of curd is very little. Can we have the next slide? Immediately post meals. इमीडिएटली पोस्ट मील्स हमने क्या लेना है? बिल्कुल आधा चम्मच अजवाइन, जीरा और सौंफ का मिश्रण, मिक्स ऑफ, it's called AJS powder, ajwain, jeera, saunf powder. You're going to make this powder, keep it, store it in a container, and keep having half teaspoon post meals. If you add this powder to the chach already, then it's okay. You can avoid it having separately. Don't have to have it twice. So if you're adding it to charge, avoid this. If you're not adding all of these ingredients to charge, then you can have it separately. How do you make this powder? Please know that ajwain is very strong. So ajwain ka agar aap 1 chammach lete hain, if you take 1 spoon of ajwain, then saunf and jeera have to be 2 spoons. Okay, and you mix them all together. उसको एक बार मिक्सी में हल्का सा ग्राइंड करना है, बिल्कुल पाउडर फॉर्म में नहीं बना देना है. You have to make it coarsely ground, which means दरदरा छोड़ना है उसको. स्टोर करके रख लीजिए डाइनिंग टेबल पे. खाने के बाद हर रोज जैसे सौंफ खाते हैं वैसे यू कैन हैव दिस. अगर ये सब नहीं करना है तो यू कैन जस्ट हैव 1 टीस्पून ऑफ गुड क्वालिटी सौंफ मिक्स्ड विद मिश्री, जिसको हम कहते हैं रॉक शुगर. People living abroad, you will have a hard time finding rock sugar. So I would recommend that you go with ajwain jeera saunf mix. After 15 minutes or let's say 20 minutes of finishing your meal, please go for a 10-minute stroll. It doesn't have to be a walk जहाँ पे आप बहुत स्पीड से चल रहे हैं. Okay, धीरे धीरे वॉक करना है, but you have to go for at least 1,000 steps approximately. If you're wearing a smartwatch, calculate 1,000 steps. Otherwise, just walk a little bit slowly for 10 minutes or so. Okay, and don't do this immediately after meals. Do this about 20 minutes later. 1 hour after meal, 1 घंटा खत्म होने के बाद खाना खाने के. If you finished your meal at 2 p.m., you can have a glass of water at about 3 to 3:30 p.m. All right, try doing this because this is the time when most water is required while the intestines are doing their work. All right, so it's a good idea. Even if you're not very thirsty, try to have a little bit of water at that time. Evening, 1 cup 150 ml licorice cinnamon tea, मुलेठी और दालचीनी की चाय. Please take care of the quantity. Okay, it's not methi. This has to be corrected. I'm so sorry. There's a slight typo. I'm going to correct this and send it to you. 1 teaspoon of methi seeds. Backend team, please make a note. We will be sending the meal plan a little later. Some correction is required. 1 teaspoon. आप 1 टीस्पून भी नहीं लेना है. लिक्रिस में आपने 1/4 टीस्पून इज मोर देन इनफ. ओके, 1/4 टीस्पून लिक्रिस यानी मुलेठी का पाउडर आपने लेना है. बिल्कुल 1 चुटकी आपको सिनेमन लेना है, नॉट मोर. या फिर एक छोटा सा अगर सिनेमन का पीस है तो उसको डाल सकते हैं पानी में. उसको थोड़ी देर उबलने दीजिए और जब वो आधा रह जाए तो उसको छान के यू कैन हैव. आई एम रिपीटिंग इन इंग्लिश. यू हैव टू टेक 1/4 टीस्पून लिक्रिस पाउडर, जस्ट अ pinch of cinnamon, not more, because cinnamon is heaty. Licorice is cooling, cinnamon is heaty. Anything which is warm should not be taken beyond just a few grams or just a pinch. Okay, you're going to add this to the boiling water. Allow it to boil for some time. When it comes down to half quantity, that becomes your cinnamon and licorice tea. Okay, all right. And what do you need to do on top of that? If you can, not compulsory, but add 1 teaspoon of coconut, good quality cold pressed virgin coconut oil on top of it. Coconut oil is also fantastic for firstly immediately increasing your energy level, and secondly it's good for the liver health as well. Okay, but if you think this is too much, I don't want to do so much, it's okay. Don't have to add coconut. Can we have the next slide? Sorry, I know our session thoda lamba khich gaya. I'll make sure next time it's not this much. I had to explain a lot of things to you. That's why thoda sa extend ho gaya. I'm sorry. I hope you're all okay with this extension. 2 more minutes and we'll be done. Okay, after 30 minutes, only if hungry. Evening tea जो आपने लिया उसके बाद, if you're feeling hungry, then you can have 1 flaxseed and chia seeds का लड्डू और sprout. या optional है. You don't have to have it. If you want to make a laddu 12-13 बना के रख लीजिए, हर रोज एक खाते रहिए, दैट यू कैन डू. और आप स्प्राउटेड ग्रीन मूंग की स्टीम करके चाट भी खा सकते हैं, या फिर कोई सीजनल एक फ्रूट भी ले सकते हैं. स्पेशली वो लोग जो सुबह फ्रूट नहीं ले रहे हैं, इफ यू आर स्पेशली नॉट हैविंग अ फ्रूट इन द मॉर्निंग, यू कैन हैव इट इन द इवनिंग इंस्टेड. Okay, but all of this should be done by 5 p.m. I would say 4:30 p.m. तक be done with it, because we want you to start eating early dinner. If you have your snack late, then it becomes a problem feeling hungry early in the evening. 30 minutes pre-dinner, same thing. Clove of garlic with honey and water. If garlic is not suiting you, go for ginger water. Okay, next slide. Dinner, again, add 1 teaspoon of good quality cow ghee on top of your whatever meal you're having. You can have a buckwheat, that is kuttu ka dalia आप ले सकते हैं, या फिर आप नॉर्मल होल व्हीट दलिया भी ले सकते हैं. देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम विद दैट. ओके, उसमें मेक श्योर यू आर एडिंग अ लॉट ऑफ वेजिटेबल्स एंड ऐड हाफ. if you're taking half a cup of any form of dalia, add half a cup of dal also to it, and preferably moong or masoor dal because they are the easiest to digest. Dinner has to be the lightest meal, which does not mean that आप carbs बिल्कुल नहीं खाएंगे, but it has to be relatively lesser than lunch. Or you can have cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower soup plus one palm-sized masoor chila. That is masoor dal का बैटर बना के उसे आप चीला बना सकते हैं प्लस ग्रीन चटनी. और one bowl rice and split मूंग दाल की नॉर्मल जो खिचड़ी बनाई जाती है, that you can have, add vegetables to it, and add some ghee on top. Okay, so very very easy dinner options. If you want to tweak them a little bit, अगर आप इसको थोड़ा सा चेंज करके अपनी चॉइस का कोई ग्रेन यूज करना चाहें, बिंदास कीजिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. See, I can only put limited things in a plan, but you, if you are smart, you can always change the grains based on what you are used to eating, what your family is used to eating. Check the combinations that I've made. I've deliberately added dal for vegetarians to most of these things so that at least some kind of protein goes into every meal. Can we have the next slide? Immediately post meal, again, ajwain jeera sauf powder or sauf and mishri mixed together. Mishri has to be half of the amount of sauf. So you can make this and store it in your dabba, a glass bottle, and keep having little every day. After 15 to 20 minutes of finishing the meal, or even 25 minutes of finishing the meal, go for a stroll just like you did post lunch, right? I think this should be the last slide. Or do we have more? Oh yeah, sorry, we have bedtime also. So 1 hour after finishing your dinner, you can have a glass of water. Bedtime trifla that I explained to you, we need to have that. Half a teaspoon trifla we will take. We'll add 1 teaspoon ghee to it. Okay. And we're going to have it like a chawanprash. And you can have it with a little bit of warm water. Those of you who have fatty liver, please don't have ghee like this. Like, too much of ghee is not advised for you. So you will instead soak your trifla powder in water for half an hour or 1 hour, and then shake it a little bit and have the whole thing. All right. Those of you who have an issue with irritable bowel syndrome, loose stools, very quickly you get any kind of diarrhea, please avoid trifla at night. You don't need to have anything. Just have a warm water. You can have chamomile tea or something like that. Any kind of watery tea is good to go for now. Right? Great. So this is it. I hope the meal plan is clear for all of you. Right? Any questions that you have around the meal plan? Liver detox drink you can safely take for a month. You can discontinue after 1 month. So this will be a part of all the meal plans that we will share. After 1 month, you can discontinue. Whatever things you can safely continue even after 1 month, I will tell you give it to you in writing. So don't worry. Great. So it's almost 12:47 and मेरा गला जो है वो खराब हो चुका है इतना बोल के आज. What about the Habuild teaches body taping is equal to lymphatic? Yes, you can do the body taping. It's also great. Rava brand, I didn't tell you. I said Bansi Suji. Bansi Suji is a variety of suji which is relatively lesser processed and the grains are a little bigger. Okay, if you get it, great. All places may not have Bansi Suji. Then have the normal one. There is no problem. Okay, most welcome. PDFs you're going to get. Please give me some time. I realize there are some errors which I only forgot to correct. I'm going to correct it. So you will receive this plan in some time. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. If somebody, okay, I'll just answer one important question. If somebody has grade 2, grade 3 fatty liver, I wouldn't say you need to avoid ghee completely. Please make sure you're exercising. Please make sure you have the morning liver detox concoction. 1 teaspoon is just 5 grams. The amount of oil that you use in cooking should come down quite a bit. Don't use too much oil in cooking. But when you add a little bit of ghee, very little, while eating, that makes sure that the digestion becomes relatively easier. Okay, because our intestines need a layer of lubrication. हमको एक चिकनाहट चाहिए होती है आंतों में ताकि आंतों में ड्राइनेस ना आए. तो very little ghee you can have. रात को त्रिफला के साथ घी avoid. Right? But reduce the amount of total oil consumption, especially in cooking. Right? Okay, great. Thank you so much for being so patient. And I'm sorry for taking extra time today. Next time onwards, we'll finish on time. And make sure you arrange for everything. We'll meet on Friday, 11:30 a.m. for a Q&A session. Jahan pe we'll answer a lot of your questions. Till then, start collecting all this stuff. In the next 2 to 3 days, you can start implementing the plan. Okay? All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.